Next, I want to talk a little bit about how much I have felt supported in this endeavor, especially by other people on the team and otherwise. I remembered that when we went to get our ribbons, one of the judges was like, "Yeah, girl power," as we came up. And that was really awesome. We just need a few more good men, which is kind of the story of my life in so many areas. Like, there's just more girls that are trying hard to be good people and progress in life. And I mean, it's not surprising in dance you'll have more girls, but in a lot of areas, girls are kind of, as a book I'm hearing about would say, crushing it. And they really are. And so the fact is, yeah, girls would prefer to be led by a strong male lead a lot of the time. Or frankly, I like a strong female lead too, because sometimes they're more clear because they know what it feels like to be led too softly or unclearly. But I usually experience that more in swing, the really great female leads. But anyway, the point is, a lot of girls just enjoy the feeling of being led by a guy. Having having them give a clear lead, and they're bigger than you, and feeling them being a strong guy. And even like we're taught in lessons, the girl with tango, you gotta be assertive. Go, it's time to go, not just should we go now, can we go now, what do you think, are we gonna go? That's not the time for that. It's time to go. And actually that was one of my notes. I need to heel lead more, and the reason I don't is because I feel like I'm gonna step on them, and I don't want to. But another leader pointed out, if you step on them, that's because they should have got out of the way. So I'm gonna work on that. And also I need to have a more strong frame, because I guess I was kind of like, which is what I was feeling. But given everything else and that I had no notice on leading today, I'm fine with that, but I'll work on it. Tonight's team dinner was even better than the last. I'm hoping to make the campus team dinners maybe when tax season is over, but it really is bonding time. There's so many times where I want to talk to these teammates and just learn who are they, and what are their interests and everything. But unless they're not dancing during practice, it's just not the time for it. No one, if someone wants to dance, they don't want to stop and talk. So it's a really great time for this. Share a meal. We're all exhausted. We all just went through the same thing. It's just really nice to get to know people that you don't know how they are, and it turns out they're someone very likable, lovable, and have a lot of great qualities you didn't know about. Eyelashes. So I had posted that I was at the store and not sure what eyelashes to get, and several people helped me out really quickly. And when I asked if anybody needed anything, they didn't. But I got several different opinions from, we're talking very high level dancers who came to my aid and advised me and made me feel more secure. Just one less thing to have to worry about and not have to make the decision on my own and wonder if it's the right one. But they guided me so that I'm like, okay, they know better. I got good advice on this, and I can rest easy knowing it's a good decision. Now, yeah, it's something as simple as eyelashes that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but just to know that they're there for you and care enough to take a minute to answer your question. Given that they're not just one level above. These are, gold and beyond and open level dancers. Talking to what they could think of as little old me. So I really, really appreciate that, and just felt super, I felt loved. That's definitely quality time spent there, to help me out. Active service too. Also, the other day at practice when we did rounds, there weren't enough leads, so some of the super high level dancers who've been dancing, more than 5 years, more than half a decade, came and danced with us newcomers. And without even a thought of, oh, we're so much more experienced, or oh, you're more likely to step on us, or whatever. No, they just did it. And it's definitely confidence building to have a strong lead in practice. Now, granted, you kind of might get used to, sort of the richness of that you may not experience in actuality, but the point is, it builds your confidence for when you need it. And it's just so nice of them to jump in and help out. And I would say one of the biggest things of today was really feeling like my partner was there for me. She knew that I'm not a super experienced lead. And I bet you, even if all I did was lead and I was a guy, it would have been the same story. Just like I've danced with guys, they're like, oh, I don't really know much. I don't know if I can do this. I'm fine, kind of keeping the unit together, and even if I have to, back leading in practice is not a big deal. But, I told her, I can do this, we can do this, let's try to work out this, but then here are areas I'm not the best at, like, prepping for, beginning. I barely have that down as a follow, and so to have to then lead it, like I barely even know sometimes the only reason I know which foot to point out is because the leader's already got his pointed out. So here I'm like, all right. I mean, thankfully, the starting is not the whole journey. It's not the end game. It doesn't determine everything. It's really just to get you going. If you can get going kind of like in a sputtering, engine cranking kind of way, at least you're going. But I just really felt like we were a team. It wasn't just I had to carry the whole load. And it really made me think a lot about, relationships of all kinds, friendships, and how we help each other. I said this the other day. We help each other with our weaknesses. We all have strengths. If we focus on those and bring those to the table, it cancels out each other's weaknesses. If I'm trying to do everything on my own, I have strengths and I have weaknesses. And those weaknesses are going to come to light if I have to do everything myself. But if we have people contributing and they happen to have strengths where I have weaknesses, then my weaknesses are just kind of erased because those areas are taken care of by someone who has a strength in that area. Just like I mentioned, I don't have the best handwriting. So when I was group leader, I would, someone would be asked if they would like to be the secretary and take notes, and they usually do because people with good handwriting usually are pretty happy to show it off. So I just think that when I'm following, it feels good to trust the lead, that they know what they're doing, and to turn over that trust to them. But then also, they know that if they're a good, strong lead, their follower can relax and not panic and not anticipate. A lot of followers anticipate what you're going to do, and they basically decide to turn themselves, and they don't even think they're back leading, but they just decide what they're going to do and do it. But when you're working as a team, when you're not fully both expert, it's good when you can kind of buffer each other and insulate in the areas you may not feel as strong with. But at least dance-wise, ideally, a super strong lead, it's not just that he's leading everything and that's the end of it. He's bringing kind of a container, like a safe space to the relationship where the follower can then let herself go into that knowing she'll be taken care of and she doesn't have to anticipate and worry and wonder and be confused and feel insecure about how it's going. So I've said so often how parallels with dance, life, relationships, but this is already enough for now. We'll cover that again some other time.